welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a what's for dinner video. I have 2 meals that I'm sharing with you and then also a dessert. So I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned. Tonight for dinner we are having pumpkin chili, and I am just getting started by cutting up some produce. It calls for some tomatoes, and I have these garden fresh tomatoes I'm going to go ahead and use. And then I also have a small onion here that I am going to cut up. So I am just going to dice these up. I'm using these fresh tomatoes instead of a canned tomato. And then I'm also going to dice up my onion. And you will also need some chicken broth, but I'm going to use some chicken base, some like bouillon base type stuff, and some water for it. And then and you can dice these up however small you want. I want them to be a good size. And then you'll need some beans. I'm using some white kidney beans or cannellini beans. Some pumpkin puree, just a can of it. It calls for sweetener like sugar. I've never put sugar in my chili before, but since this is the first time I'm making this recipe, I am going to follow it as far as that goes. It called for black beans, and I'm using the cannellini beans instead just because that's what I had in the pantry and I want to get them used up. And then also some ground turkey, which I currently have sitting in some water thawing because it is after 4 and I hadn't taken any meat out yet today, so I grabbed that sitting in some water so it can thaw a little bit. And then you also need some chili powder, and I'm going to add some other seasonings of my own just because that's just how I cook. I always add more than whatever a recipe calls for. So I'll just finish getting these chopped up. Oh, and you need some garlic. I forgot to get that out. Some minced garlic as well. So I'll get these chopped up, and then we are going to cook the onion and turkey together with a little bit of oil. Probably add the garlic into that as well. All right, so those are chopped up. I'm just gonna get another cutting board to do the onion so that it doesn't get all of the tomato juice on it. All right, and get this diced up, and I'm gonna dice this pretty small, and I'm only going to use half of it today. So the whole thing. Onion is not my husband's favorite. I like onion, I like cooked onion, I like raw onion. It's just not his favorite thing. So we're gonna do half an onion today. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing because my hand is there, but I just slice the onion first, but keep it together. And then I go in and get it the other way so that it chops up pretty nice. There's that. So let's move over to the stove. We'll get the turkey and the onion going with some olive oil and some garlic. And then it seems really simple. You just throw the rest of the stuff in there and bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer for at least a half hour. That's it for the soup. Yeah, let's get over there and do it. I am putting my pot, I'm using like a Dutch oven, I think is what they're called. But I'm putting it on medium heat and adding some oil to it. And then I'm just going to cook down the onions a little bit with the ground turkey. And then I am just going to season this a little bit. I am using onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and some pepper. And then I'm going to go in with some chili powder as well. And I think I added a little bit of coriander and cumin to this as well. I just let it cook down, and then I did take some of the grease out of the pan with a paper towel. Instead of draining all of the meat, I just kind of absorbed it. And then I'm adding in a little bit of the chicken base, the beans, the tomatoes, and then 1 whole can of the pumpkin puree. And this is 100% pure pumpkin, not pumpkin filling. That would be sweet and probably not taste very good. So just mixing all that up, and then I added one of the pumpkin cans worth of water to this and let it simmer, and this was absolutely delicious, and we just served it with bread and butter. Tonight for dinner, we are going to be having chicken kebabs. So it is actually before noon. I'm going to get everything chopped up. I want to get the chicken marinating, and then since I'm already in here doing some prep work, I'm also going to cut up the bell pepper and the onion. So what we are going to do, first I have some water over here. I am going to put some of these skewers in the water and let them soak until I'm ready to make the skewers, make the kebabs. This helps so that the bamboo skewers don't catch on fire when you're grilling them. We're going to do 2 different marinades. I have this spiced maple marinade I got at Menards, and you just add oil, water, and vinegar, it looks like. So we're gonna make some of that. And then I also have this Carolina barbecue sauce that I got at Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna marinate just a little bit of the chicken in this. My husband doesn't like mustard unless it's like in something and you can't really taste it, but mustard marinade he's not going to like. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of that for myself and for my son, and then we're also gonna do the spiced maple marinade. And then, like I said, since I'm already doing prep work, I'm going to cut up this bell pepper, and then I have half an onion in here that I'm going to cut up. And then we also will probably serve this with rice. I just wanted to chop up the chicken, and I just made them into like a bite-sized pieces, I guess, after I did trim off some of the fat. But I tried to get them as close to the same size as I could, but just bite-sized pieces that would cook quickly on the grill and would be easy for us to eat with a fork. And then I'm just going to divide them into the 2 different bowls that I have here. One of them will be for the like the mustardy barbecue sauce that I'm going to have, and then the other one is for the marinade that I'm going to make. And hindsight, I should have made the marinade one, like the packet, in the bowl first and then added the chicken, but I wasn't thinking about it. So you'll see here in a little bit that I ended up making it in one of our measuring cups and then just added it to the bowl. But it would have been easier to already have it in there. The marinade packet, I just kind of followed the instructions on the back. I didn't follow the directions to a T, but it's just oil and a little bit of white vinegar and the packet, and you just stir it together. It tasted really good. So if you have a Menards, and I hear you saw that I smelled it just to see what it smelled like, but if you have a Menards or somewhere that sells these seasonings, I would definitely recommend this one. It was really good. So then I'm just coating the chicken, like I said, both of them, and then these sat in the fridge for the day, and about a half hour to 45 minutes before I was ready to grill, I took them out so that they could come back to room temperature. And then, like I said, since I had stuff out and was prepping the chicken, I also did just roughly chop my onion and green pepper, and I added some oil, salt, and pepper to the bag so that it could kind of marinate a little bit, just like the chicken. And I just let this sit in the fridge all day, also while my chicken was marinating. I didn't show putting the kebabs together because it's pretty self-explanatory. You just put them on the skewers however you would like, but then I just grilled them up and they tasted delicious. My husband didn't have any of the peppers and onions, so that's why there's some with just meat and some with a lot of the veggies, but they were really good. The dessert I have for you guys today are peanut butter pie bars. So normally I make this as a pie, but today I was taking it to church actually, so I wanted to make bars. So what you need is some peanut butter, 1 container of Cool Whip, 1 block of cream cheese, and some double stuffed Oreos for the crust. And then you also do need a little bit of butter. I just forgot to grab it out, but it's a really simple recipe. So I'm just taking the Oreos and crushing them. I have this little Ninja food processor I've had since like 2013. It worked great. And then I'm adding in just a little bit of melted butter to kind of bind the cookies together, and then I press it down into the pan. You could hand crush these up or like use something to hit them up or whatever. They don't have to be super fine like this if you don't want. Also, if you were making this as a pie instead, you could just buy the pre-made cookie, like Oreo cookie pie crust. So all of the instructions stay the same. If you're making this as a pie, you just use a different pie container, I guess you would say. Then it's really simple. I just took the whole block of cream cheese, and I did put it in the microwave for just a little bit to melt it. This is actually cream cheese that I had in my freezer. You can freeze cream cheese if you're going to bake with it. The consistency changes a little bit. Also, can we take a quick second to talk about the packaging on cream cheese? Who thought that this kind of a wrapper was a good idea for cream cheese? It's horrible. Anyway, going back to how we make them, then you just add in a cup of peanut butter. I just eyeballed it, and then the 1 container of Cool Whip, and you mix that together. I use my hand mixer. You could definitely do it by hand. You pour it onto the pie crust, and then I put this in the fridge for a few hours. Actually, I think it was overnight, so that it could harden. And then I just cut it into squares, and it is really good. I liked this version better because with the pie you get a thicker filling layer and it's really rich, and this way, doing it with bars, it was like the perfect portion. And that is all that I have to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. I would love to have you stick around, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.